Hey folks, welcome to another day, another unboxing, and I have here Moto's new affordable mid-range phones or budget phones even of the summer of 2020, the Moto E here and the Moto G Fast. Now don't let the Fast name confuse you. It isn't the fastest of the Moto G series. As you know, this year Moto chose to name all the G models for North America, for the US, just G instead of numbered G. So instead of G8, which is what it should be, it is G. I will link to my unboxing of the Moto G Stylus and Moto G Power up here. They are slightly more fancy than the G Fast. And of course the E is very affordable. $150 list for the E, $200 for the Moto G Fast. So, you know, in these COVID times, affordable phones are a good thing. So let's take a look and check them out. Let's start with the Moto E here. And there it is. It's got a box, some info on the back. Got an iMac at the bottom. Nothing too fancy. Opens up like this. You've got the phone in here. Get to that in a minute. You got a little divider here with a SIM removal tool and some documentation. Let's see what's in here. I think this is the README and this is the safety stuff we don't care about. So here we are, we have some instructions. Everything's very basic. I'll leave this up so you can have a look. But yeah, I mean, there's not going to be anything too fancy here. I'll also check out the wattage on this charger. I bet you it's not that much more than 10 watts on a lucky day, but I'll put it up. And so USB-A on the charger, and we have a USB-A to USB micro cable. So this is definitely very budget in the sense that I didn't even go for USB Type-C. So that's it for the box. Let's have a look at the phone itself real quick. We've got it right here, easy to remove. Let's see if we've got an iMac sticker back here to remove. Nothing, nice. So you can see it's a nice little shade of blue here. Ooh, not sure if it's plastic. Feels certainly nice for a really affordable phone. So let's go through some specs while I turn this on, shall we? Here we go. As you can see, there's a lot of bezel. I'm seeing less of this viewing angle madness than you are seeing in the camera right now. So the display is a 6.2-inch 720p panel. IPS, hello Moto, of course. You've got a front-facing camera up here. This is a 5 megapixel f/2.0, nothing too much to write about. There's an earpiece, there's a big chin down here. You can see it. In the back, we got two cameras. We got a 13 megapixel main camera, f/2.0, and a 2 megapixel f/2.2 camera for depth. No fancy OIS or anything, of course. It does have phase detect autofocus, which is cool. The fingerprint sensor is embedded in the Moto logo, which I really love. It makes it for easy finding. Now, under the hood here, you've got a Snapdragon 632, which isn't too shabby for a $150 phone, really, but nothing too crazy. Where it gets a little hairy is that there's only 2 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of storage, but you do have micro SD expansion, so there's that. Now, under the hood here is a 3550 milliamp hour battery. Should last quite well, considering this is not the fastest chip and not the hardest display to draw with 720p resolution. So let me walk you through the edges. On the left-hand side here, you get nothing too much other than a SIM tray, which is also micro SD. You got that USB micro connector at the bottom with a primary mic and a mono speaker. On the right-hand side, you get the power lock key and the volume rocker. The power key has a nice little ridge finish to it, so you can feel it easier. That's smart. And then on top, you have the secondary mic here and a headphone jack. So that's basically it for the Moto E. You know, you're not getting something too fancy, but the nice thing is that it's already discounted to about $115 on various retailers right now. So it's going down in price. $150 is the regular price. And you know, it works on all the networks in the US. It does have a very clean build of Android 10. So Moto does a very good job there. And that's really nice because, you know, ultimately you want a phone that will last you a couple of years with updates. And this is definitely pretty decent for that. But let's switch over to the Moto G Fast, shall we? Here we go. So there it is. G Fast. Let's open the box. Nothing in here. Next, we've got the phone. I'll look at that in a second. Then we have a little divider. And there's documentation in here. Sneaky. Oh, and a SIM removal tool that's deciding to like face plant publicly. I think that's it for this box. Here is the README and the warranty safety information. So let's have a look at this again. Here you go. Check it out. So this is a little more premium, I guess, compared to the Moto E. There's a charger, USB type A, and I'll put the wattage up. Again, this feels like a 10-watt charger, maybe on a good day. Then we have a cord with, USB type C here. That's exciting. I'm going up in the world. So USB type C to type A right there. Pretty standard stuff. I don't think there's anything else in here. No earbuds or anything. So let's take a look at the phone, shall we? Let's see how easy this is to pull out. Same thing again. Moto makes this really easy. And let me see if there's an IMEI in the back. No. So here we go. Ooh, this is white. I like white phones. They're cool. So as you can see, this has more cameras immediately and slightly bigger. Let me turn it on and get you some specs. So immediately you can see this is a bigger screen. It is a 6.4-inch display, but it's still only 720p, and you can still see a bit of that, viewing angle thing. It's not as pronounced on the camera. It's definitely less visible with the eye. Again, quite a bit of a chin, a bit less bezel. Hello, Moto. Then there's a hole punch camera here. This is an 8 megapixel f/2.0 camera with 1.12 micron pixel. So we're going up in terms of performance. Again, IPS panel, nothing too crazy here. This feels like it could be glass, but honestly, this actually feels more plasticky than the Moto E did. So I'm pretty convinced this is a plastic body and plastic mid-frame. That fake chrome finish kind of gives it away. Yeah, nothing too crazy there. So in the back, you've got a trio of cameras, actually. You got a little bit of an upgrade on this phone. You've got a 16 megapixel f/1.7, 1.12 micron main camera with phase detect autofocus. You have an 8 megapixel f/2.2 ultra wide with 1.12 micron pixels, and 2 megapixel macro, which probably doesn't have autofocus, with f/2.2. Not quite sure on the pixel size on that. You can see the fingerprint sensors embedded in the Moto logo again. Nothing too surprising. A lot of the G phones from Moto do this, and it's actually a pretty awesome setup, I think. Now under the hood, you have a slightly upgraded processor. You have a Snapdragon 665. That's the same chips that's on the Moto G Stylus and Moto G Power, so that's cool. Still a little iffy in terms of memory. There's only 3 gigs of RAM, which I think is not enough for this kind of processor, and only 32 gigs of RAM, but you do have microSD XC card support, so that's all right. You can expand it easily. There's also a bigger 4,000 milliamp hour battery under the hood, so that's pretty welcome. Now, this doesn't have NFC. That's one of the issues with the Moto G phones. The E, I was kind of willing to, not care that it doesn't have NFC for Google Pay, because, Google Pay is very helpful in these crazy COVID times. But this doesn't have it, nor do any of the G series sold in the US. Now, in some other markets it does, and it's kind of weird that they chose to remove it from North America, but it's not there. So just be aware of that. That's how it goes. So that's it in terms of specs. Nothing too crazy. This is a $200 phone, obviously. Let me walk you through the edges. On the right-hand side here, you have the volume rocker and power lock key. Again, it's ridged for convenience, so find it better. USB Type-C, mono speaker, and primary microphone at the bottom. Left-hand side has the SIM slot, which is also a micro SDXC slot. And then you got a headphone jack with a secondary mic on top. Pretty much the same layout, very similar layout anyway. And then the other thing I wanted to quickly mention is that although this is listed at $200, you can already get it at a discount now. It's already $130 list on street pricing. So again, if you want a phone with Android 10, since this runs Android 10, that's gonna run a clean build of the OS, kind of stock, and you want to maybe get security updates for a couple of years and not to have to worry too much, and you want to spend, $100 to $150, these two phones are definitely something worth considering, right? And that's kind of why I wanted to show them to you, because We unfortunately don't live in China where you can get really nice phones for $100 to $200. This is what we get, and for some people, having a warranty and having support for the right bands for your carrier is really important, and you can't dismiss that. So Moto G Fast, Moto E, very affordable, 200 list, 150 list, 130 street, 115 street, very cute designs, very nice, very feel good in hand, colors, everything, materials. I mean, plastic is plastic, but they did seem to do a pretty decent job, at least on the Moto E here. The G Fast feels a little cheaper, honestly, which is kind of strange. But there they are. And so again, remember, this is just an unboxing. I do a lot of unboxing videos. So please like, subscribe, tell your friends, click the notification bell below, comment below, all that good YouTube stuff. But this is a compliment to the podcast at mobiletechpodcast.com. We're also on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, and of course Spotify. So please subscribe. If you want to hear what I think of these phones, this is the way to do it. Go on the podcast and listen to my guest and I, and you'll hear and find out what we think of these phones. That's it, folks. Stay tuned for more videos, and until then, cheers, everybody.